Today's question comes from Laura in Florida. I am studying interior design and I have been doing some work for free for a friend who is already a designer to get experience. Recently, she asked me to take on some time-intensive projects. I would like to be paid for these projects, but am unsure how to ask since I have been doing other work for free. How do I ask to be paid for these larger projects? Well, the simple answer is clearly and nicely. Right, with a good helping of humility here. The challenge is you started out working for free, which I want to first say, Dave. A lot of people in today's environment, and I'm not going to go on a rant here, but they just look down their nose at getting themselves in by working for free, and it's all about I deserve the dignity of being paid, and this is the way the world works. So I applaud Laura for getting in and doing some work for free. But now the friend who has said, okay, we got some new projects, I think you have to sit down and go, hey, I'm so grateful that you allowed me this opportunity to shadow you.
Always lead with gratitude.
Always gratitude.
Always lead with gratitude.
Grateful for this. It has been invaluable to me. These projects seem to be a lot more time intensive. And because of that, I'm wondering, can you pay and what could you pay me for these? Because this is going to eat into the other areas of your life. And this is what I mean by clearly. Don't speak in gray, black and white, so that
and don't
your friend
whine
understands
about it and beat around the edges. Cut straight
direct
through
to
it.
Here's how it's going to affect my life for these time-intensive projects. Could you pay me? Notice how I'm stating this. Could you pay me? And what would you be willing to pay me? And we have a conversation, not a negotiation. This is a friend who's already done you a real solid. Yeah. And I think if you go that direction and that kind of posture, and when I say posture, I don't mean the physical posture, I mean the emotional. I think if you do it the right way, your friend's going to let you know what she can or can't do, and then you have to be a big girl and decide what you can and can't do.
Here's the thing. Anytime any of us are in a conversation with someone that is uncomfortable or awkward, we tend to, in the name of being nice, do a ballroom dance all around the issue instead of just saying what it is.
That's right.
It is a lot less painful and kinder to be just cut straight through it and very calm, lower your voice tone, your volume, everything, and just say what it is. Whatever the situation is, just say it.
Yeah.
And it takes the air out of the room, and otherwise all this ballroom dancing adds to the awkwardness. And I did this, and you guys would think, well, Dave's always blunt. Well, you know what? I've gotten more blunt. I've gotten more direct because of this idea. And because early on in our career, we had folks working on the team. We had maybe a team of 20 people or something like that. Someone would be screwing around. They wouldn't be doing their work. They'd be off track, or they weren't good at it or whatever. And I would get continually frustrated, and they never knew it. Because in the name of being nice, I never told them that they sucked at what they were doing.
Right.
And it wasn't nice. Yeah. Because I got more and more and more frustrated until finally then there would be I wasn't ever mean to somebody, but I would be like this one little thing, and I'd hit this little number 1 with a 10. And they're going, where'd that come from? Well, it came from 6 months of me putting up with you not doing it. But I never said anything because I was nice.
That's the key.
That's just BS. To be unclear is to be unkind.
Right. And here's the deal. If we don't fill in the blanks for people, they'll fill them in for us. And therein lies the frustration.
Well, and you start doing a ballroom dance, they're going to think it's worse than it is.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. They're trying to read your mind. You're trying to read theirs. And it just gets into this weird thing versus this is a friend. This is an easy conversation. I know where Laura's coming from. Yep. It feels like there's a lot of...
reframe this. Just reframe it. All it is you did some part-time work for free, and it's over.
That's it. Yeah.
It's her option. And there's another chance here to do some more work, but it's not going to be free.
That's right.
You just need to go, thanks for letting me come in here and learn this stuff. And hey, I'm not going to be able to work on this other stuff unless there's pay involved because it's just too much. But thanks so much for letting me do this. Lead with gratitude, close with gratitude, make a gratitude sandwich, man.
Yeah. By the way, the backside of this, folks, if Laura goes in with that posture and she's been tremendously valuable to her friend and her friend realizes she's not working for free anymore, great chance that she scraps some money together to hire Laura. So going in free and adding tremendous value, you never know what that could lead to.
I'll give you a 50-50 chance the woman's thinking about paying her anyway.
I think so.
I mean, she unless she's just trying to take advantage of her.
Michael is up first in Wilmington, North Carolina. Michael, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, y'all. Thanks
What's
for
going
having me. I've been listening to y'all for a few years now and just looking for some advice.
Cool.
My wife and I bought a house together in 2022, and she recently decided that she wanted to divorce and that she's going to be moving out next week.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate it. Me too. And so I know a bunch of my friends and family have said that the only way to be able to take the loan over would be to refinance. And I found out through our mortgage company that they do have assumption of the loan process. And I was just curious which way might be best for me to go. That way I could get the mortgage and everything solely in my name.
Yeah, well, that's great that your lender has those options. A lot of them, the only way to do it is refinance. But again, it's always worth asking your lender to see if they can do a loan modification or the loan assumption. And it sounds like, have you looked into the terms of that? It sounds like it'll be the cheaper route for you to do a loan assumption if you can afford it and take on that risk on your own.
Sure. They literally just sent over the email today. I'm at work, so I kind of went through it a little bit. And just even the numbers from that, like you said, it can be kind of pricey. And so I wasn't quite sure what the refinance is. We haven't touched any of the equity in it or anything. So that's part of the reason why I was hoping that, before I found out about their assumption details, might have been able to refinance and maybe use that equity for the stuff to refinance it. But when
what is she owed in this deal?
What?
Have you guys gone through the process?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask. Are there lawyers?
Is she going to get a piece of this home and the equity?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not. It's not like I'm trying to. It's not like I'm trying to do all this like behind her back or shady. I'm just trying and I guess figure out the best option for me, because I want to stay in the house. My father is just been put on hospice and he lives with me.
Well,
so I'm trying to keep the house.
I just want to know if you guys, did you guys say, hey, we're just going to figure this out ourselves, or are there any lawyers involved that are saying and kind of mediating this for you and saying, okay, here's the deal, here's what it's going to be. I just don't want you to get ahead of yourself and this not be the terms of the actual divorce. If
you go through all this and then it turns out you have to sell the house or do a cash-out refinance to pay her portion anyways, and so now you've got two refinances. So that we're just trying to make sure you know what the next steps are before you make a big financial move like this.
Sure. No, we have not gone through anything just yet as far as lawyers or any type of agreement. I've been trying to work with her as far as some type of agreement. But
how long were you married?
The end of February will be 2 years.
Okay. So depending on the judge is who's going to decide what's fair and equitable here. And so there may be a situation where he goes, listen, you guys weren't married enough to split this half and half. Here's what she gets. Here's what you get. You get to keep the house. Mm-hmm. Who knows how it's going to shake down. But I would absolutely work with an attorney, even if it's one in just mediation between you two, to get all this down on paper before we make a decision on what's next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely don't pull the trigger on any of this yet.
Okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I just wasn't sure if regardless of however certain ways went about, if there was a better way to handle it, if I was able to assume, or if refinancing was the better option.
How much equity do you have in the house?
I'm not sure, honestly. Normally I was the one just out working and putting the money in the accounts, and I let her handle paying it.
Have you guys separated bank accounts yet?
Not. Well, we have one joint account, and we had one for the house, and then we each had our own individual.
Okay. I would separate finances to keep things clean right now.
Okay.
And it sounds like you're going to be paying the mortgage on your own.
Yes, well, I have been.
And how much is the mortgage compared to your take-home pay?
The mortgage is $1,750 a month, and I bring home, give or take, for a month.
Oof.
Wow, that's tight like a tiger.
So it's almost
it
half
is.
your income going
Yeah.
towards this. And so here's the
Oh,
thing:
yeah.
if let's say she gets a portion of the equity and you have to do a cash out refinance,
Yeah.
well,
That's
that's going to make your
terrible.
mortgage payment go up. And so I
Okay.
don't know that you're going to be able to stay in this house based on how much equity you have and what this new mortgage will be.
I mean, you already kind of can't, even if that weren't a factor.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I like I said, I've been the one who's been paying for the house ever since we moved in. I work a full time, and I try and pick up some side jobs here and there to.
But that was with
make
her
sure that
income
we've
too,
got
right?
everything.
Was she contributing financially?
No, not to the house.
So you guys were just really scraping by
No, I
then with
tried.
this.
Well, what I tried to do was I tried to be the one that went out and worked to cover the bills, so that way she could stay home and focus on the baby and focus on school and not have to work.
You
So
guys
when
have
you
One
go-
kid together?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
we just had a son 7 months ago.
Oh, my
I'm sorry.
goodness.
So when you go out and work, you said, you kind of close that gap. When you go out and do other jobs, what type of jobs are you doing, and what are you bringing home in addition to your $4,000 a month?
Well, it's not consistent, but I go out and I do mechanical services on the side.
Mhm.
So I could bring in anywhere from, I don't know, an extra grand to extra $3,000 a month.
Here's where I'm at. Listening to what you're saying and kind of what it's been and what you're bringing in and the consistency or inconsistency of it all. With what George is saying, as it is, I think that your mortgage was already too high, assuming she wasn't contributing much financially there. And then, like George said, if you do this cash out refi, it is going to cause your monthly payment to go up. I don't think that you can handle that. You're going to sit and you're going to talk with a lawyer and you guys are going to figure this out. But if it were me, I'd probably try to walk away from this a clean break and get into something that you can afford monthly. That's 25% of your take home and is not contingent. One thing you don't want to do, and this is not just for you, but anybody, you don't want to have to side hustle to pay your mortgage. If you're side hustling to make sure that you can afford your mortgage payment, something's wrong and you're out of balance.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah, side hustling is to do extra things like pay off debt and save for things, not to make sure you can clear your mortgage.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. Matthew's with us in Salt Lake City. Hi, Matthew. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up in your world?
So I went to medical school, and now I'm 3 years out of residency and enjoying the debt burden that goes along with going to medical school and kind of trying to deal with that and establishing life after training. And I've got a great job and a great practice. And
Cool. How much do you make?
I make about $500,000 a year.
Good. Well, you got a great big income.
Yeah.
Congratulations. So
really
how
blessed.
big a mess did you make?
I owe about $350,000.
Okay.
So
So you're going to pay that off this year?
Well, I hope so.
Good.
Well, here's the trick. 2 years is what I'm looking at.
That'll work.
The trick is,
Yeah, with taxes and everything. That's about right.
yeah, the taxes are kind of what killing me, and that's
Yeah.
where my question comes in. And that right now, because of the tax burden, I've been paying into my group's pension plan to kind of offset some of the loss that comes with my income.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't?
No. You don't have a 100% tax bracket. Dadgum near it, but you don't have a 100% tax bracket. So you're putting $100 in there, and it's saving you taxes. I want you to do that later, but right now you need to clean up this $350. I would stop doing anything I'm doing, anything until I get this $350 cleaned up, and to completely focus on it. Obviously, you got to pay your taxes. But no, I stopped doing all investing. I stopped doing all retirement savings, everything till we get that cleaned up in baby step 2. And you're in an unusual baby step 2, but you have an unusual income, thank goodness.
Yeah. So, even though, I guess I haven't thought about it that way, because I feel like the money I'd make on the investment starting this late in my investing, if I were still able to pay it off over the course of, the year or 2 years, the benefit of the time that I've already lost in saving for retirement would outweigh.
Dude, you make $500,000 a year. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be all right. You need to clean up this mess, because here's the thing. Your peers, doctors, they're an unusual breed in that they're fabulously intelligent and notoriously stupid with money.
Right, with money, sure.
And so, you just have to not listen to anything any of them say about money. So, don't take their investment advice, for goodness sakes. Yeah, just let's get the mess cleaned up. Because here's the thing: if your house is paid for, your student loans are paid off, you got no payments anywhere, you're making $500,000 a year. Yeah, you load that pension up, you load up a bunch of other stuff, and in 20 minutes you're a multimillionaire. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. But your shortest path to stability in prosperous times and in down times, your shortest path to wealth in prosperous times and in down times is no debt. It just changes. It changes the way you feel when you go to work in the morning.
Sure. Yeah. And so I have a couple loans that are, different interest rates. One of them, I know you talk about paying off the lower balance first to get the ball rolling. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've got a ball rolling, and I've got some bigger balances that, the interest on them is quite high. And so I was thinking maybe I'd attack those.
So what is the interest rate?
5. I have one that's 5.125 and another that's 5%.
Okay. And the lower interest rates are what?
It's 3.5 and 2.4.
So the spread is 2%. If that were true on $200,000, that would be a $4,000 swing.
So it's pretty insignificant, yeah.
Compared to $350,000. The significant thing is your dedication that you use to get through 16, 18 years of school to become the high income earner that you are. If you will take that set of emotional maturity that you have, the ability to delay pleasure to win, and if you will apply that is your X game. That's what takes this get out of debt. That's your secret sauce, dude. And you've already captured what most people never capture in their life, and that's the ability to live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else. You proved that by the track of study that you did, and that's why I never, ever say a doctor makes too much. I will never tell you you're overpaid at $500,000 because you paid a price that nobody else would pay to get to be where you are. You earned the right to get paid this money. And so I'm completely on your team. Use that same emotional X factor, and that's more important than the $4,000 savings. If you want to mix it up a little bit, dude, mix it up. But be done in 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's my goal. And according to our budget, if things just hold, the way they are in our plan, then we'll be out of it. It'll feel so good.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Make sure that I want to make sure our listeners hear this, okay? Screwing around with the interest rate here, it changed the equation. $4,000 out of $350,000. So you don't have a $4,000 problem. You got a $350,000 problem. So you hit it with $350,000 solutions. And moving the interest rate around is not. It's what is that? Turns out to be 1% of the solution. 99% of the solution is named Matthew and $500,000 income. That's your solution. Thank God you got the income to go with this mess.
I know, right? I know. I feel very blessed. Very blessed.
What field of study? I mean, what field of practice?
I'm an anesthesiologist.
Of course you are. Yeah. It's the best.
I was more nervous to talk on the radio than I was to, save a life in the operating room. So.
I bet. Well, it's one of the best fields of study because you guys get paid so well. Well, I'm so proud of you, man.
Grateful.
Now clean it up, and I want to hear from you when you're debt free. All right.
Hey, thanks for all you do. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, be good. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Yeah, you're going to stick a needle in my spine, and I want you to be undertrained and underpaid. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't want an epidural from somebody that's underpaid and undertrained. I hope you make $1 million a year. Think, people, think. You people that think you're not supposed to make money. Oh, my goodness. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show. So, John, it's been at least 6 to 9 months since I've really pissed somebody off about COVID. So I'm way overdue.
Oh, good.
But I'll tread as gently as I can. We're talking at the break, and we're talking about Bridget, and what was the low point for her was the summer of 2020 when her company's laying people off, being furloughed. She didn't know if she's going to lose her $100,000+ a year job. Instead, she ends up getting a promotion, so it nets out. We've got this company with 1,200 team members. The leadership team here is scratching and clawing, and entire segments of our revenue just evaporated, and we've got the responsibility to these 1,200 families that we promised them we were going to pay them, and the stress of on our leadership team of carrying that. My friend Craig Groeschel just did a podcast. He does a leadership podcast. I was on it a little while back. I'm getting ready to be on another one. But he just did one I listened to this week. He talked about how people were depleted and that we need to, as we lead out of this pandemic, we need to be replenished. We need to be filled back up. Our gas tank's empty. The gears are grinding. There's no oil in the crankcase. There's no lubricant in our lives anymore. We got nothing left. And in the middle of that, the economy goes bonkers. With inflation and with job opportunities. There's labor wars. So people are fighting over you to pay you more, but they want to work you more than you've ever worked in your life in order to get that pay. And so we went from scared to death, trapped at home, sitting on zero, to 220 miles an hour with no lubrication in the engine.
That's right.
And so we've got a whole bunch of people out there that are completely depleted, and they're going to smoke. The engine's going to smoke. It's going to blow.
Yeah, and if you back out and say, our friend Jocko talks about this, there's been no ownership of the good or the bad. You have to acknowledge what happened to you negatively.
It became politicized as to whether they were right or not to do the quarantine, right or not to do social distance, right or not to make me clean the office at $60,000 a swipe by the CDC guidelines, and then they come out later and say it doesn't help at all.
Right.
After I spent $250,000 cleaning the freaking office, so people back at work, and people still sending us hate mail and bomb threats because we're in the building because we dared to be at work.
When you experience a collective trauma, somebody has to stop everybody and say, whoa, before we race off and
before we move on,
before we just start printing money and pretend this never happened, which is what we've done, right?
Exactly.
And Bridget talked about she went through a divorce, she had some loss, and so I'm just going to open a yoga studio.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm just going to pretend this, and then that ends in ash. And all of us who have launched out of the last 6 months trying to pretend the last 2 years never happened and not collectively grieve what we lost. A million people, and we lost, people are dead. Our friends, our family members have passed away. We've looked back and said, we shouldn't have done it like this. Will someone just say that, please? And we should have been. All that you have to process that together. You have to, otherwise you take off. You got no. I love that you said there's no oil in the engine. It'll go for another 150 miles, 200 miles, and you're gonna get all the people are gonna be stranded on the side of the road, man. And I hate it. Own it, man. Stop and own what happened so that you can move forward.
Yeah. Well, societally, we're not gonna get anyone to own it at leadership because we don't have any leaders.
It's so embarrassing, man.
And
so embarrassing.
Societally, they're not going to own it. What Jocko says that a good leader should do is not going to happen. So given that that's not going to happen, each of us as individuals have got to own our part of it and go, oh, wait a minute, that did happen to me. Yeah. That did hurt. I was terrorized by my own government, by people who disagreed with me.
Yeah.
And if you believed one thing, the other side terrorized you. It didn't matter what it was you believed, right? Because the source of truth was there was no source of truth. Right. Anybody that claimed to be the source of truth was laughed at because they weren't the source of truth. e.g. Fauci, and so has become a laughing, has become the laughing stock of the whole thing. He was like the head of the circus.
Yeah.
And so, but nobody's coming back and going, look, he was just wrong.
Yeah.
2 million people were not slated to die.
He never came up and said, hey, last 3 months I said this. I was inaccurate. We got new data. It's time to do this now. That never happened.
Never once.
And if I could pass along one piece of information after working with hurting people for so many years, and you too, if you're in leadership and you head down a road and you realize this isn't the right road, just stop and turn back to tell the folks we're on the wrong road.
Keep your reverse gear in good working order.
That's such a gift to everybody. Yep. And it's not a matter of weakness or failure. It's a matter of strength, right? Yep. Just to say, hey, we got new data, and it's time to do this now. And I had said this, but all of us, I think you're right. We can talk about that all day. What I have to do is look in the mirror. Me and my wife have had to have some acknowledgement.
We're not going to fix those goobers, okay? But what you and I do need to address for the listener right this second is that you can't go on as if nothing happened.
That's right, because it did.
Denial is not a river in Egypt.
That's right.
It's a real thing.
Yep.
And so you have got to say, this happened. I faced stuff I have never faced before. I've felt things I never felt before. I may have even done things I never done before. And I'm not going to go back to the way it was until I put some gas back in my tank, and then it'll never really be back the way it was.
I got to build something new. That's right.
I'm going to lead not as if nothing happened. I'm going to lead out of this. I'm going to lead my life, and you are in control of leading your life if you're listening to us right now. So lead your own life. Leading your life is you are the leader, and so you have to use critical thinking skills. You have to say, emotionally this hurt. Physically, I was scared for my life. There was, trauma with that, and the real world is that really happened. Now, is it debilitating for the rest of your life? Does it have to become the defining thing for your life? Absolutely not. It shouldn't be. But if you pretend like it didn't happen, you're going to turn to ash.
Everything around you will turn to ash. That's right. One of the most common questions I get is, where do I start? And I would say 95% of the time, there's a relationship or two that was significant to you that went away over the last couple of years. Either they said something, you said something, you felt away, they felt away, and that's where I would start. I would look over the course of the relationships that I burned or lost or got frustrated with over the last couple of years and say, is there some people in there I need to call and say, dude, 30 years isn't worth this over the last 2 years. Is there a conversation I need to have with my spouse and say, hey, man, we got sideways over the last 2 years, and I just put some stuff in the drawer. We need to just have a chit-chat. But are there relationships that I can begin to heal? And maybe there aren't. Maybe I need to then replace those that are gone.
Yeah, or it might just be you say, okay, I don't respect that person.
That's right. So we've moved on, but I've got to replace those with other people in my life, right?
Yeah, this person,
I saw new colors, and
I saw things about them that I don't want to be around.
That's right. But I can't use that as an excuse to do life by myself anymore, right? I got to go find new people.
That doesn't give you an excuse to not deal with you.
That's right.
Today's question comes from Jeff in Florida. I got a new job recently, and I have a boss from hell. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get fired soon. The problem is I enjoy the work, and I get paid well. I tried looking for other jobs similar to this, but there's none in my area. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells at work, like I know it's a matter of time before I get fired. I paused baby step 2 to start saving in case I get fired. I now have $2,200 saved up. I figure we can live on one income if we sell our cars and take our kid out of daycare. Should I start 1, looking for a new job, 2, downgrade everything except childcare to prepare for the worst case scenario? If I downgrade and get a job, I'll have that extra income to pay off debt, which is a substantial amount. So yeah, I should be looking for a job right away and taking maybe 1 or 2 extra jobs while looking. If you really feel like the shoe is about to drop and you could get fired at any moment, you just want to be stacking cash, which means making some extra cash right now. If it were this bad, the way you're describing it, I would be working extra, saving extra, pausing some things, sure. But let's move quickly because you know what the work is. I'm not going to accept the reality just automatically that I've tried looking for jobs similar to this, but there's none in my area.
You were looking for one when you found that one.
Yeah, I just never want to accept that.
That's a bull crap. Okay, there's There's no houses for rent in this area. Of course there's houses for rent in your area. You just don't like them. So, yeah, you need to look for another position immediately. And, I'm going to throw in one other thing. I cannot tell this from this email, but Jeff, I want you to ask yourself, are you whining? Is your boss really the boss from hell, or are you the lame employee from hell? You just got the job. You walk in the door, and they ask you to do some work, and you don't like that. Are you whining? It might not be true.
Yeah.
But I would want to ask myself that question.
Well, you actually make
Why
another
is
point.
it that you're so freaking useless that even the boss from hell is going to fire you quickly?
Well, let me throw another scenario that could be out there too. This could be a boss who maybe not the boss from hell, but's got a lot of crap going on in their own life, personal life. Maybe they're stressed out of their mind. And this boss isn't talking to you with the sweetest, kindest of demeanors and voice. And maybe he's a little grumpy. And maybe you're not going to get fired at all. Maybe they got some rough stuff going on in their life, and you think because of the way they're treating you, you're going to get fired.
Yeah, like, are you whining? That's what I'm asking.
That's right. But what's the cause of them thinking that the boss is from hell? Maybe they're just having a bad day or a couple bad days. And you're not going to get fired.
Everybody that disagrees with you is not a narcissist.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Everybody that you don't like the way they said something is not a toxic work environment.
Mm-hmm.
And people telling you to do your job is not a toxic work environment. That's like you buckle up, buttercup, So I don't know if that's what's going on or not.
Yeah, it could be.
Sometimes that stuff comes up. It doesn't come up here. We don't run into it much because you don't even make it through the interview process if you're going to be that wimpy here, because we get crap done and we don't pull any punches. I could be the boss from hell because I believe you ought to work and stuff because you got to outwork me, and I'm 63 years old and been doing this 40 years. So keep up, kiddo, buckle in. So this is what we're doing. I mean, if you're not going to do that, you're not going to like me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you would. Jeff, I don't know that that's you. But if you're ever facing this, I'm increasingly hearing, and Ken is too, in the career space, that every environment that feels momentarily unpleasant, like I'm going to get a callus, is a toxic work environment.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's just the wussification of America.
That's right.
You're just being a wuss, Suck it up and dig, get the shovel, dig the hole, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's really what's going on, I don't know if that's what's going on. So, Jeff, ask yourself, are you whining? Are you being a wuss? Is it really that bad? Are you exaggerating and melodramaticing this? I mean, you just took the job. How could you mess up the interview that bad?
Yeah, well, here's another clue in this. I enjoy the work, he says, and I get paid well. People don't enjoy doing stuff they suck at. So he's either delusional, and I don't think he is, or I think this is an emotional situation. He doesn't like the way he's being talked to and treated, and I get that, whether he's whining or not. But the issue is, don't think that the boss is going to fire you just because they're not talking to you with roses and, and treats and, that's the issue. Yeah. People quit too soon in these days because they want to be coddled.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't get coddled at the workplace.
That's what I'm saying. And it's not, I do not expect anyone to stay in a real toxic work environment. But asking someone to work and correcting them if they don't do the work properly is not a toxic work environment. That's called training.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think back to my favorite coach all time, Benny Polk, high school basketball. If you would have watched those practices from outside the gym doors and just watched his demeanor, you would have thought he was verbally abusing us. He wasn't. He was, well, in today's world he was, but he was just coaching us. And I think there's a difference between verbal abuse, bullying, and all the stuff we hear about, and then just good old-fashioned, tough-nosed leadership sometimes. It's not all roses and pom-poms.
Well, I mean, Jeff, I am not accusing you of that. I am suggesting, though, that just reading through the email and the way this is put together, that, maybe you need to analyze is how much of this is you. If it's not you and it's truly just a guy that's being a twerp and he's a jerk and he's yelling and screaming or something, I wouldn't ask you to work there. We don't yell and scream at Ramsey. We don't cuss at our team. We don't do that. We don't abuse. We're not the bosses from hell. But I have been accused of being that just because I told somebody to get up off their butt and get their stuff done. Okay? And if you don't like that, you don't need to work around here because we get stuff done. You know? We leave the cave, kill something, and drag it home pretty regular. And when you kill something, usually there's blood. So get ready. You know, I mean, there's crap going on here. All right? So this is what's going on. And so you got to decide if that's, you know, that's a part of the equation here. Like, I've been fired from jobs too. And, you know, one time I got fired is 100% my fault. It took me a little while to realize that. When I went broke, it was 100% my fault. You know who got me broke? The idiot in my mirror. And one of the best things I did in my life is discover that he was the problem. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.
You have very few of these, but a whole lot of these. You're going to like our show today. We're going to talk to a financial expert. His name is Dave Ramsey. What's the number one question that you get on the air concerning financial problems? What do they want to know?
Concerning financial problems, how to get out of debt.
Yeah.
How do I get out of debt? And I would say the second thing is communication with spouses. It's the stuff Grandma talked about. So save money, live on less than you make. Two concepts Congress can't grasp. And then we talk about getting out of debt, the borrower's servant to the lender. And so lay down a plan, have a budget, spend every dollar on paper before the month begins. Because it's more behavior than it is math. Don't spend money you don't have. Understand, when half your net worth is tied up in something that loses 60% of its value in 4 years, you're not going to get ahead. I don't meet with people with $1 million that say, gosh, Dave, I got ahead using credit cards and car payments. What solves it is getting mad at it. Some healthy, righteous anger and saying, hey, that's it. I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm going to be weird. I'm going to get this stuff paid off.
Oh my gosh, I have no words. I have no words. Your voice was it's changed. How old were you in that? How old?
I was probably about your age.
Mid-30s?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, 95, I was 35. Yeah, I was your age.
Wow. Yeah, I'm 36. Give me my year.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And you still use the same jokes. It's
the same exact jokes, yeah.
It's
live on less than you make, a concept Congress
can't grasp.
Now, I did take, I had a guy come in and train me for a year and a half on, and removed a portion of my accent. So I've got a lot less accent now than I did then. That was pretty country fried there.
Yeah, that was some Nashville. That was some 80s Nashville.
Pretty southern, sweet tea there, and the little comb over thing, that little last vestige of hair stuck up there.
You got a little bit there.
It was still stuck on there. It wasn't really a comb over. There was just a little.
Y'all all just look old in those days.
Do what?
Like you look like you're 50 in that video. Isn't that interesting? Back in the day, I just feel like the way the style was, the way it was shot.
The style and, a suit and tie and the glasses, the Mr. Magoo glasses.
Yeah. I mean, like, it just makes you, it just ages you.
What's interesting is if you quit looking at all that stuff,
sorry,
which is fun. That's fun. It's fun to make fun of. I'm okay with that. That's good. But what did I say? Gave every dollar a name? Do a budget?
The Every Dollar app.
And now we have the Every Dollar app, and little did I know there was going to be an internet.
Communicate with your
Called
spouse.
Every Dollar. Give every dollar a name and live on less than you make, and cars go down in value.
People don't get rich on credit cards and car payments.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild, yeah.
And 35 years later, I'm still saying the same thing, and I have more listeners than we've ever had before at this moment. And I've not changed one thing. I mean, it's nothing new here.
Mm-mm.
It's very
Even
new.
the be weird element.
That was there, wasn't it?
Yeah, you said that. Just be weird.
You have to be weird.
Be weird.
And now when somebody comes on and does their debt-free scream, we call them a weirdo, right? And that's before it became a political thing in the last few weeks. But, yeah, we've still been doing that.
Oh, yeah.
And,
man, they hijacked the word.
They stole my word, yeah. Now I have to clarify that it has nothing to do with the Trump campaign.
It's weird because you're just not normal.
You're not normal, yeah. And
it's so refreshing, though. Like, it is. There is something about longevity in life. Principles in all of life. I think it's probably true within relationships and health, money, like spiritual, all of it, that it works. The new flashy way to do something or newest thing, it doesn't have the proven track record. It doesn't have longevity, and the level of trust you can have in a system and a process that truly has been, for 30 years. Same freaking thing. Do you get tired of saying the same thing every day? For 30 years. I've been doing it for 15.
Yeah.
I've been half of it.
Yeah, there you go. When we look back on this interview right now, this discussion right now, your voice is going to sound weird.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say, look at that haircut. What is she wearing?
Where did she get that?
What? Oh, that's awesome. Well done, James.
The style you used to have back then. That'll be it. So, but the whole thing is that the truth, something that's the truth, and we're people of the book, we're people of faith, so we believe that the Bible is the truth. The truth does not change, and it's not negotiable with your feelings. And so that's why we've been able to have the integrity to say the same thing over and over and over and over again for 35 years through several fashion changes.
Yes.
And not only survive, but continue to prosper you guys, to not only survive in the business, but be able to continue to help you guys. And it still helps you to hear those exact same things from that interview all those years ago. So we still say them over and over and over. And that is a type of integrity, to stick with something, to finish, to not quit, to not abandon every time somebody has the latest, all of a sudden Bitcoin is the new answer. And so we have to stop. No, it's not. It's not. All of a sudden, NTF is the answer. No, it's not.
Well, credit card points and miles, that's been, that game has ramped up.
That's been
majorly.
It's crazy. And, when we started, there were no credit cards accepted in grocery stores, and there were no credit cards accepted in fast food. And I remember doing a rant, aghast on the air, that it was going to ruin the American family, that they could buy their groceries now and go into debt to buy their food. And I remember going off about that. And, now it's not even that. Now it's just delivered to your door. Your door in particular, but yeah. Rachel hasn't seen the inside of a grocery store in years.
No. I'll go if I have items. But on Mondays I work, and that's when I do my grocery shopping.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, conveniences.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You gotta give and take, people. Live like no one else. Later you can live and have your groceries delivered. I'm sorry. One thing I do for myself.
One thing.
The one thing. When's the last time you've been in a grocery store? Probably not since that video.
Yeah. No.
No, but
entirely possible. No, I've been there. It's because your mother sent me. But yeah. But the I think the point is that these principles work, and the way that we deliver them, whether it's tomorrow we may be on a hologram, I don't know. Tomorrow we may have there's going to be another technology in 5 years. What we end up doing with AI to be able to, we're going to use anything that's available to deliver the exact same message over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I would say for people that are newer to listening, because YouTube and podcasts has become like one of the major parts of this show,
Instagram
is just because something feels simple and kind of boring and like, oh, is that it? Really? You live on less than you make? Kind of that common sense. That's almost those are the ones to lean into, right? Like if stuff starts to get complicated and too fancy and it feels like this like whoo thing. So to be confident for people that are new to this, younger people even, like it's been working and it still is, helping people get free and control of their money, which is what we want.
Some of the most profound things you'll ever learn in life are easy to understand and hard to implement. Love your neighbor. Ouch. That's hard. This is The Ramsey Show.
Lean into, right? Like if stuff starts to get complicated.
Welcome back to another episode of The Best of The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, co-host of the show, and here's the deal. Everybody's talking about real estate right now, and we hear it all on the show. We're going to dive into saving for a house, checking your insurance coverage, renting versus buying, how much house you can actually afford, and more. Check it out.
Let's start with Maria this hour in Chicago. Hi, Maria. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Very excited to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
My question is this. It's going to be well, I guess I'll ask the question first, and then I'll give you the background.
Okay.
Is it financial? Just financially speaking, not regarding how I feel about home ownership, just financially speaking? I'm 58 years old. I have no debt. I have fully funded emergency fund. I have fully funded retirement, both Roth and 401k.
How much?
I own how much is in it? There's about $1 million in it.
Okay. Cool. Good for you.
And
Well done.
Between the both, I raised my 4 kids. They're all out of college. I'm single, and my home's worth about $350, and I paid it off. It's paid off.
Okay.
Taxes are really high. Taxes are really high in Illinois.
I heard the
$1,000
rumor.
a month for taxes. Okay, but anyway, so I think I want to downsize because I don't need my house anymore.
Cool.
And I'm not. So I would go to like a townhouse.
Okay.
So just financially speaking, would it be a really bad idea for the next 30 years for me just to rent? And the reason why I ask that is because in my heart, I've had so much responsibility in my whole life, raising my 4 kids, keeping up with my house. I wouldn't mind just writing a check every month and just be done. And but everybody's telling me, like, financially speaking, you could sell your house for $350, go buy something for $350 or less. I'm like, but then I got to worry about the house again, the windows, the roofs, the gutters, all that, That question makes sense?
No, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I understand. Okay. So, did you raise your kids by yourself? Are you a single mom?
For the most part. I mean, I was divorced when they were very, very young. He was.
So for 20 years, 20 years, you've been a she-bear out here fighting, scratching, clawing, and you've cleaned the gutters. You've done whatever it took, and you're just tired.
Yes, I work overtime every month at work just to make sure I was. Yeah.
I thought you were that girl.
Off my house in time.
I thought you were that girl. You sound like that girl. You sound like a warrior princess. Well, let's first answer your question, and then let's try to look for a solution, okay? The problem with the good part about your theory is you don't have to screw with stuff because the landlord does. So you get all this stuff out of your life. The bad part about this is think about what rents have done in the last 30 years.
Gone up.
You think? Yeah. And think about what they're going to do during the 30 years that we're talking. So if you rent instead of owning a paid-for property going into retirement, you're destabilizing your life because every year your housing cost is going to go up.
True.
So that's why it's a bad plan. It's not a bad plan to rent for a short period of time while you're rearranging things or you're in a transitionary stage or something like that. But renting for 30 years means you are a victim of the real estate market instead of riding the wave.
Can I throw something else at you?
Yep.
Okay, so I put down on paper, because this has been like stressing me out. So I put down on paper my taxes versus all my bills in my house.
Oh, I think you need to move. I think you need to move.
Okay, but like I even projected cost if I was in a townhouse.
Yeah. No, here's what I want you to. Here's what I would do if you were my little sister and you're old enough to be my little sister. Okay.
Not your older sister.
No, I'm 60, so I got you beat.
Okay.
But I would tell you, you don't want to work on crap and you don't want crap breaking, and you are a millionaire. So you need to go buy a brand new condominium where someone does all the exterior maintenance and every appliance and everything inside is brand freaking new. You earned it. You're a rock star, and you need to enjoy a little bit of this money. And it's like buying a really nice car that's in really good shape after you've been driving a freaking beater, and it breaks down all the time. And, my cars don't break down now. Back when I had crap cars, because I was trying to get here, they broke down all the time. But you're a warrior girl, and you need to enjoy the spoils of the battles that you have won, and that's $1 million in a $350,000 paid-for house. You're worth $1.5 million. I want you to sell this house. I want you to buy a $350,000 condo. You may want to move to an area that probably might feel a little bit like it's a little too rich for you, but you need to live there anyway.
Wow. Okay, I'll think about this. Thank you. Very good information.
What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think that transition when you're a single mom, when you're raising kids and you're putting them through college and you're saving and you're working, you're doing overtime, it's kind of like being gazelle intense for 20, 30 years, and suddenly your identity is, I'm a sprinter, I'm a fighter. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And how do you settle back down? You could hear it like, man, for someone who's accomplished what she's accomplished, the fact that this decision's keeping her up means it's not about this decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's about I've got to shift gears and become something else, right?
Yeah.
That's a big, big transition.
Yeah. What do you do when you come home from a 20-year campaign on the road with Alexander the Great and you're one of his soldiers after 20 years? How do you stop fighting and scratching?
You will pick fights
clawing
with your neighbors, with your dog,
how do you
with
stop
everybody.
it? And so, and that's what she is. She's a warrior princess.
That's right.
And so, she's been, these single moms, man, they get her done. These are some of the toughest people on our planet. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that's and that's who she is. And she's like, she's kind of telling herself good things like, I deserve a rest.
That's right. And Dave, we talk a lot about people making decisions out of stress or out of anxiousness. That's very similar to making decisions out of exhaustion. I'm done. Mm-hmm. I'm out. Right? I just want to. I know the math is bad. I know it's going to destabilize me 20 years from now. I'm exhausted.
I don't want to fix anything
I'm exhausted,
else. I don't want to talk to any more freaking repairmen.
I've talked to people who get divorced because I'm just tired of it. Yeah. Right? So I love your idea of, man, right now it feels good. It's not going to be good down the road.
No, it's a bad long-term plan.
Yeah.
Debbie is with us in Detroit. Hi, Debbie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
My husband and I made a huge mistake. We moved into a house about 2 months ago, and with the housing market being so crazy and lots of competition for homes, we made a mistake of buying a house for more than we wanted to spend. We paid over list and appraisal, and we're now in a house that we just feel like we can't afford the mortgage payment. It also has a pool that is much more of an expense than we thought it would be. The house needs a lot of repairs, and some things have come up in the last couple of months that we didn't realize were going to need to be repaired right away. So my question is, should we plan on selling it or stay for at least 2 years and then not have to worry about capital gains? But if we sell it now, we would probably walk away with, losing about $40,000.
There is no capital gain when you lose money.
Right. But on the odd chance, if we were
if you break even, there's no capital gain. Capital gain would only occur if you made a profit.
Right.
So it doesn't sound like that's a problem.
Yeah. But if we sold it for what we bought it, if we just broke even, we'd probably lose about $40,000 with closing costs and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what's your house payment?
Well, that's the other thing, too. It's more than what we thought it would be. With the property taxes are going to be more than we had planned for. So with property taxes and insurance, it's about $2,300 a month.
And what's your monthly take-home pay in your household?
About $9,000.
Okay. All right. Well, you're slightly above what we would tell you, but not a huge amount.
Right.
It doesn't sound like this. Your house payment's not 40% of your take-home pay. This sounds more emotional than mathematical.
Okay. We feel like we've been bleeding money ever since we moved into the house because of the pool and the repairs that have been needed. And
what have you spent on repairs?
Worried. I'm sorry?
What have you spent on repairs?
Well, with the pool, it's been over $1,000. With the repair, we just had a garage door repaired that was over $700. We need.
What'd you pay for the house?
We paid $410 for it.
And you had $1,500 worth of repairs, and you're panicking?
Yeah. Well,
and you make $140,000 a year?
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah. This is emotional.
It doesn't sound like you're bleeding out. It feels like you got a little scrape on the knee, but it's just a lot. It sounds like it's more stress of just we're having to.
I think you were super impulsive, and you did something that you wished you hadn't done, and that's what's killing you. The math's not killing you. I mean,
So we should.
It's not ideal.
Yeah.
But I probably would just breathe a little bit here.
Okay.
You know, okay. Here's the thing: the house payment's not out of control. The repairs are not $28,000 in 1 month. They were $1,400 in 1 month, and you make $140. There's nothing here that's causing red sirens to go off and fireworks and panic in the numbers. Okay. Now I understand you have a deep sense of regret because you feel like you impulsed and overpaid, but. So I don't want to trade a $1,400 repair and a house payment that's slightly over the margins we teach, which are conservative, for a $40,000 loss.
Right. Well, the other thing that I'm worried about too is we moved with our jobs because now we can do our jobs from anywhere after COVID, and there is a chance that my salary could be decreased based on where we're living now.
Well, if that happens and you can't afford the house, we can talk about selling it then. But we don't sell a house on what might happen. The house might get hit by a tornado, too.
Yeah.
But we're not going to sell it because it might.
Right.
Debbie, do you guys have any other debt other than this mortgage?
We do have a car payment. We owe about $12,000 on a car. We only have one car. And then we, just from the move, we've got about $6,000 on credit cards.
So it sounds like there's some other pieces to this puzzle that are causing this stress. Do you have an emergency fund?
We have about $25,000 in savings.
Okay.
Right now?
I would write a check and pay off the credit card and cut it up and pay off the car today.
Right. Okay.
And you guys need to get on a budget. You are not in control with your spending. Nabil is with us. Nabil is in Atlanta. Hi, Nabil. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thank you for having me on the show.
Sure. What's up?
So I'm a 23-year-old with about $85,000 saved. I've got about $25K in my Roth IRA and 401K. And about $60K in investments in index funds, I'm looking to purchase my first home.
Wow, where'd you get all that?
I make about So I work at a job. I've just been following your principles since I graduated college, and I've kind of every stimulus, every piece of extra money that I've gotten, I've kind of just put away and tried to save.
So not counting your Roth, you got like $145,000.
No. So it's a total of about 85. It's about 60 in the.
Oh, the whole game
fund.
is that? Okay,
yes,
I got you.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
So basically, I make about $120,000 at a job that I relocated to about 6 months ago, and because I'm already traveling, I just moved back in with my parents. So I'm looking to buy a home with which I would use as both a primary residence and also simultaneously rent part of it out to make up for the costs of me not being there because of my work travel.
What do you do?
It's now a good. So essentially, I'm a project manager setting up new warehouses across the country.
Man, you're killing it.
Good job, dude.
You're killing it.
Thank you.
Do you like the job? Do you like traveling?
Yeah, I do. I'm only, it kind of complicates the housing because I'm only in my home city for about 4 days a month. I'm kind of just on the go in hotels. So that's why I'm trying to see whether now is kind of a good time for me to buy a townhouse or a small house in the $250,000 to $300,000 range.
I wouldn't.
For this purpose, and how do I kind of find a
I
good
wouldn't
deal in the
either.
market?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
You're not there enough to manage it.
Gotcha.
Pipes
Okay.
freeze and bust. The whole thing will melt before you get back.
Okay. So how would you kind of recommend that someone like myself in the coming years, say I were to stay in this job, how would you recommend I pursue home ownership?
I would later, but right now I think you're being very wise to listen. Here's the thing. Owning a home, crap breaks, whether you're there or not. And it's just, it adds, you have a very simple, very clean, very efficient life. And I would let someone else manage the domicile rather than you having a let's say you had a roommate that decided they want to sell all your furniture on eBay while you were gone. That could happen. It's happened before. And so when you get back, the roommate's gone, all your stuff's gone, and you file a police report. But, yeah, I mean.
Or I've got a relatively new house, and I just got a report last week. I got to replace an air conditioner. The whole unit, the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't know why you want to do all that right now. I think there's plenty of time, as young as you are, to own a piece of real estate. I would wait at least 12 months, maybe 24 months. And if you're home 4 days a month, rent the Ritz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Go to the nicest hotel in Atlanta and just live
go
there.
to the Ritz Buckhead. It's a nice property. I've stayed there. And just for 4 nights, your life will be so much better. People will bring food to your door and stuff. And they'll even come in your room and set it up. And you don't have to go buy food.
They'll wash your towels.
It's called room service, and you don't have to change the beds. I mean, that's what I would do, and just have a really nice, efficient life and let my energy be spent, my spiritual, emotional, physical energy be spent on something other than home ownership for 4 days a month.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
But I'm okay now. Long term, I do want you to buy. So let's set a goal. 25 years old, you buy. Because I think your life will change. I don't think you want to do this indefinitely. This gypsy thing.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, I mean, this is not conducive to family life, right?
No, definitely not. It's very much, you're living like a nomadic life.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of cool. You're getting to see a lot of stuff. You're a young guy. It's kind of a, little, like you said, nomadic. That's all cool. All that's kind of fun. I would do it. I'd definitely do it if I was your age and single. I think it's kind of cool.
All day long, yeah.
You get to see a lot of cities, and America's got some wonderful cities. You get to see some cities that aren't wonderful that are out there too.
But if you do this for 2 years, you're going to blink, and you could have $250,000 in cash.
Yeah,
just sitting there.
Just keep piling up some money, and then just go buy you a house. But not for 4 days a month.
No,
I wouldn't. I like real estate, but it is not. It is the thing that nobody talks about with rental real estate or personal residences. Either one is they break.
Yeah,
and you have to have people come over and fix crap. or fix it yourself with your little YouTube video or whatever it is you're doing. But oh my gosh, and there's entire portions of my life have been used up on broken stuff around real estate. That you don't have to have if on the short term, right, if you're in his situation. So I liked having all my life back, my bandwidth back to do like fun stuff or whatever.
Or the 4 days you're home, just relax.
Yeah, and just have no hassle.
Have some peace. Yeah.
No hassle. Yeah. That's fun. It's fun to have no hassle. Nathan's with us in Pensacola. Hi, Nathan. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Long-time listener. I appreciate your show and definitely live by almost all the advice you have.
Well, thank you. How can I help?
My wife and I are looking at possibly buying a property. It's a little bit more expensive than what I'm used to buying. So right now we own a home, and we're just trying to figure out if it makes sense to take our current investments and just basically liquidate our current investments and then now go into debt with a mortgage that would be probably about a $300,000 mortgage after we're done with liquidating all of our expenses, all of our debt. All of our assets.
Okay. How old are you?
We're 47 and 46.
Wait, all of your assets? You mean you're pulling retirement out?
No. The retirement I can't touch until later. But we've got listening to you guys Smart Investor kind of stuff, and we went with a Smart Investor Pro here in Pensacola.
So you have how much money in investments that are non-retirement?
Probably about $600K total.
Okay. And your current residence has how much equity in it?
About $400.
Okay. So you're buying $1.3 million house?
It's going to be a little bit less than $1.3 million, but it'll be a little over $1 million.
Okay. I missed how you get $300,000 in debt because I got $1 million here, $600 and $400.
So I guess the mortgage might not be quite $300 then. It'll be probably closer to $200 when you have all the closing costs and everything into it.
Okay, so you're talking about you're not going to net $400 out of your house.
No, we should. We should net $400 out of the house.
And you have $600 in investments.
And savings and everything, yes.
That's $1 million, and the house is $1 million. There's not $200,000 in closing costs. There's not a 20% closing cost. There's no such thing.
So I guess it's just kind of an uneasy feeling going with a higher home value. And just, I guess the biggest that I have is, does it make sense to liquidate the investments that we have right now?
I wouldn't buy the house if I didn't. because you're going to go into debt. So it's the same question of if I had a paid $4 million house, would I go borrow $600,000 on it to put money into investments? No, I wouldn't. Not taking the money out of the investments and putting them on the house is the same thing as borrowing on your house to do that. So you should not buy the house unless you're willing to use the investments to do it. What's your household income?
Right now, it's probably about 110.
And how old are you guys?
48 and 46.
Will you be able to afford the taxes on $1 million property with $100,000 a year just to maintain the property, keep the lights on this thing, keep the yard mowed?
Yes, we will. Yeah, Florida's got some generous disabled veterans tax benefits.
Okay. So why do you want to buy $1 million property?
It's something my wife and I have always dreamed about, living on the water, and this is an opportunity to do so right now.
Okay. I don't think you're going to need a mortgage, or if you do, it's a very, very small one, and you're going to turn around and get that paid off as fast as you can. If you're sitting in this property debt-free within a couple of years, then I'm fine with this idea if you want to do it. The thing that's out of balance that you're feeling is that the vast majority of your net worth is now tied up in your single-family home that does not generate an income. It does grow in value, but it does not generate an income. And so, you're going to have to really pour on the coals and build some investments by the fact that you don't have any house payment in the near future to make this work. But no, you don't need a $300,000 mortgage. The numbers you keep giving me, that you act like they add up, and they don't add up. I mean, 600 and 400 is 1 million, and you buy $1 million house for $1 million, and you use $1 million, you shouldn't have a mortgage. And so,
something about this makes me uncomfortable. Like, it makes me uneasy. That's a lot of.
The reason is that everything you own is going into this house, except your retirement. Well, and it's out of balance. It's too much, really. Yeah. But if you're paying cash for it, I think you can tolerate it as long as you turn around and start dumping money into retirement really, really quick. Would I do this if I were in your shoes? No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Maybe that's what I wouldn't either.
Because I don't want that much of my net worth making $110,000 tied up in a single-family house that does not create income.
And I'm thinking of it, if the air conditioner goes out on this $1 million house, that's going to be an expensive repair. Or if the driveway needs to be, or if I got to do some plumbing work on $1 million, it's all so expensive.
Everything, 100% of the houses break.
Yeah.
100% of them need crap done to them. And brand new, no matter who built them, no matter where they are. I mean, I own a lot of real estate, and there's just, they eat money.
Yeah.
So to your point, that's good. Yeah, I think, I the more I sit here and talk this through, listening to John too.
I'm risk averse, though, so let me say that out loud.
But I mean, there's just no margin here.
There's no
wiggle room.
I keep coming back to margin.
There's no wiggle room.
What if you get sick, or what if you get something?
If life goes sideways, and right now you got a lot of wiggle room with $600,000 in the bank. So probably what I would do is take your $600 and pay off your current residence, which you should have done anyway if you're listening to me. But that's that part where you said you just did part of what I teach. I remember that part. I didn't drive by it. I heard it. And then I would save like a crazy person, and I might do this deal in 5 years where I've got $500,000 left over after I buy it. Now if you had $500,000 left over, non-retirement, after you move in there, you do $1 million house. $110,000 incomes is low for $1 million house, but if you're paying cash for it for whatever reason, it's okay. But you do need some liquidity, and it doesn't need to be freaking 90% of your net worth. Right. That's out of balance.
Or can you save up some money and go multiple weeks and stay at a lake house a year? And if you need to get the fix.
I don't even mind if you buy. If your dreams to live on the water, I agree. I like living on the water. I've got properties on the water. I like it. But water's amazing.
Yeah.
But but it's not amazing if it steals your peace instead of gives you peace.
There you go. Yeah.
So, and there's no margin here. No margin. It's dangerous. That's a dangerous deal. No, I wouldn't do it. I'm going to retract. I wouldn't do it because I don't like the fact there's no wiggle room. What I would do is I'd pay off my house today, and I'd start saving like a crazy person and make this a 3 to a 5 year dream, and just keep piling up cash and keep investing with a paid-for house. But you're going to do what you're going to do because you already don't do some of the stuff we teach. So that's up to you. You get to decide. But That's what I would do if I woke up in your shoes.
I find people don't have margin with their time. They don't have it with their relationships. They don't have it with work. They don't have it with money. We just have a margin-free society now, man.
Well, there's friction at grates that get frayed ends.
Yeah.
And you get frayed at the ends, and it's just because everything's pushed to the edge.
Yep.
And it takes what would have normally been a blessing, and you add 2 doses of stress to it, and all of a sudden the thing you were supposed to be in love with, you hate.
And when you think of it psychologically, our brains were designed to run at that level when a lion was chasing us, not to live like that.
Yeah,
it just rattles everything to our core.
It's a big old house with a lion chasing you around inside that.
You just parked a lion in the front yard. Yeah, that's right.
So we've already deteriorated Tiger King right here. Kurt is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Hi, Kurt. How are you?
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Better than I deserve, man. What's up?
How you doing? I'm 25. I'm not filled with my job, and I'd like to move out of my parents' house. Potentially looking up north, but I have about $50,000 in investments and $90,000 in my savings, and I'm blessed to have no debt. Should I move with the current housing market situation, or should I wait? And if I should wait, should I move some of that savings money into investment, make some money while I'm waiting?
Well, the housing market is, as you mentioned, is white hot in terms of buying a home. Some areas, the rental market is also closed up, and it's very difficult to find a rental. And so rental prices are going up as fast as real estate prices are, which there should be a correlation between the two. That makes sense. You have done a wonderful job saving money, sir. Well done. You save all this money, or did somebody give it to you?
I'd say about half, maybe a little less than half, is an inheritance from my uncle. The rest is all just me saving. My father and my mother, since I was young, have always told me, spend half, save half, and I just was never really a big spender, so I saved more than half at that point.
Wow.
And so I've just been saving I've been working since I was, 16, so I've been saving for a while now, and I'd always been looking forward to buying a house, and I just was feeling now was the right time, but with this housing market, I'm just, it's kind of shot down my housing.
You said you might move up north. What are you going to do for a living when you move?
I'd stay within the same industry, but right now I'd probably go more into analytics. That's what I like to do. Right now I do more risk management.
So Kurt,
looking to get into more analytical.
So I'm glad we've identified this, because moving up north, I think you had in mind there's some companies or a company or a specific job, and I think that's the part we want to work on first. Is you're not happy in your job, and so the good news is you're clear. You know what you want to do. You have a good idea of the analytics is where you want to go. I think I determined that. Where's a good place to land there? Then I'd make my housing decision based on that.
Okay.
So do you have a good idea of some companies, or do you have something, when you say move north, are you just thinking an area, or are you thinking company that's pulling you north?
I was thinking more just Orlando or Jacksonville, because I have current social networks there that would, and finding a job, there's obviously a lot of, within my industry, there's a lot in Orlando and Jacksonville.
Great.
So I was looking there just to kind of get away from where I've currently been, where I've lived all my life,
Sure. Well, that's really good strategy. So, Kurt, I think you need to take some action steps. And so I would begin, if you haven't already, you obviously have the social networks there. I would actually begin to engage those social networks around those companies. You identified both friends, connections, and several companies that are in your industry, or at least you know that it's pretty hot there. I'd start making those connections. I'm going to give you a copy of my #1 best-selling book, The Proximity Principle, which actually walks you through step by step how to make those connections, who specifically you're looking at. Because I think if you get really serious about that, Kurt, right now you're in great shape financially. Let's find those opportunities. Let's go ahead and get interviews. Let's land the gig. And I think the housing decision will take care of itself, because you've been very smart with your money. But let's land a job, and then let's make a housing decision as a part of that.
Yeah, here's what I will just add to that. I'll take the back end of that strategy. So start working the social networks. You're only a few hours from those towns. Get the job landed. Then go rent an apartment for 6 months. Then during that 6 months, start looking for property. Don't overpay. There's no reason for you to have house fever. You can take your time. And if the market's white hot and you have to dramatically overpay to get a house, then that's God saying don't buy a house right now. Just wait. Blake is with us. Blake is in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hi, Blake. How are you?
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Been waiting on you to say that. So I have a question. My wife and I have wanted to build a house, and every builder that we speak with has quoted us way over budget. So it seems that prices to build are continuing to go up, and so we have started to look at existing homes, but those are also very expensive. We're currently renting a two-bedroom single-wide trailer, and we have 2 children. So we're just kind of stuck. We could pick a smaller house plan, but right now I don't think we would want to go much smaller than what we've already chosen. So I'm just wondering if you think we should wait it out. Should we be looking at other homes? Just wanted to get your advice.
Okay. And you're debt-free, and you have your emergency fund plus a down payment.
Yes, sir.
Good. So you're ready to go. Well, I would continue to look. This is your first home purchase, I take it?
We actually sold our first home in August, and with hopes to do this. And so when we sold, we moved into this rental house. So this will be our second home.
Okay. All right. Well, in general, here's a couple things to take into the formula. Okay. Number one, generally speaking, with rare exceptions, used housing is less expensive than new. Okay. New is usually the top line bar of how we set values in residential real estate.
Right.
And so, you're going to get more bang for your buck with a used house in general. And if you're having trouble making something fit your budget, then that's going to be part of your answer for sure. The second thing you've got is we are in a very, very, very unique time right now. With the lumber factories being shut down during COVID, there became a huge shortage of lumber, and lumber prices have gone up exponentially in the last little while. And the largest cost item on your P&L or on your project list as you're building a home is lumber. And so we're even seeing builders in some areas not agree to lock in the price. Like, we'll bid you a house for X, but if lumber goes up more, we're going to have an escalation clause in that contract. I'm hearing stuff like that happening out there. Okay? Yes, and so, which I would not sign up for that, by the way. Okay. Steel is doing the same thing. I got a huge price increase on a building I'm building next door, our conference center that we're putting up that we're breaking ground on next month. We just got the prices in, and we've had a huge increase on the steel. Steel's done exactly the same thing. So these unbelievable high increases in prices on lumber and steel are temporary, but will they ever come all the way back down to where they were? I don't know. But it's a simple supply-demand thing that there was just not any, and everybody was chasing what few was there. And so when the supply dries up and there's high demand, it always drives price up. That's seventh grade economics. And so that's what you're facing on the new home building side. It's one of the toughest times in decades to build a new home right now because of escalating prices on all kinds of different things. And there's this huge influx of people back into the real estate market. There's a shortage of inventory in the real estate market across the nation. To give you an idea, February of 19 to February of 20, real estate went up 3.9% nationwide in value. From February of 20 to February of 21, it went up 14.9%.
Wow.
And so that's used housing. But part of that is that riding the cap of the shortage of inventory and the shortage of the lumber driving these lumber prices up. So if I'm in your shoes, I'm not going to ride it out. No, I'm going to probably go ahead and buy a used house. I'm probably going to park my plans to build until some of the smoke clears on this craziness that's out there. Let this market balance back out a little bit. You'll be able to get better attention from a builder, and you'll be able to get a more predictable, reasonable price. And that might be 3 years. But in the meantime, I don't want you in that trailer. I'd be buying something. That'd be my plan.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the call. It's a crazy time. This stuff is white hot out there.
It really is. But, there are some opportunities. I was reading a story recently of the Wall Street Journal of how a lot of young couples are moving out of urban areas and into suburbia, and they're buying older homes that are still a good value. But what they're doing is they're taking their cash and they're putting the cash into reno. So again, we preach cash on this. But
into renovation.
Yeah, but if you can renovate it and kind of make it more valuable, make it livable, if it's livable to begin with, they got 2 little girls here.
Yeah.
So depending on how short he is, they had planned to sell and then buy, just keep saving and get pretty close. But I would go the used route too. I agree with that just because you can't go wrong there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you're either way, whatever you do, you need to be in the ownership role because it's going to go up.
It's right.
I mean, a 15% increase in real estate prices in 1 year.
That's extraordinary.
I haven't seen that since the 70s.
Yeah.
When we had double-digit inflation.
Right.
And real estate was a big part of that. When I got in the real estate business in 1978, they taught us when we're doing a comparative market analysis, doing an appraisal, that for every month that the comp was old, add 1% for increase in value.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was a 4-month-old comp, you'd add 4%. That's a 12% annualized.
Wow.
And, of course, that's not happened in decades.
And do you see it being how much?
I think it's temporary.
Yeah, because we're seeing this because
it's
new home
COVID.
building.
I mean, it's all this supply demand. It was
Right.
just this pent up demand. Everybody's sitting around looking at their house, going, "I hate this place."
Yeah.
And they hadn't spent that much time at home before.
Right.
And
But
so they put it on the market, sold it, and there's just a shortage.
is it also because new home builds have slowed down? So once they speed back up, now inventory increases and then pricing drops.
Yep. Because you couldn't get lumber.
Are you worried about a housing bubble?
No.
Why?
No. But because there's a shortage of inventory that'll balance out.
Yeah.
This is not.
This is natural supply demand, is what you're saying. It's not some false.
It's not just a froth. It's not a hyper crazy people going nuts.
Okay.
Just for the sake of going nuts. Lisa is with us in Spokane, Washington, to start off this hour. Hey, Lisa, what's up?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call. So here's the deal. My husband and I were in the process of building a house. We actually had the foundation go in last fall with construction due to resume this spring. And then we found out last week that our construction budget went up 40%. So we've been on this financial plan to do this really intelligently, and now it's just gone off the rails. So we're going to put that on hold due to COVID. And I have this big chunk of money sitting in our savings account waiting to pay for this home that now it's not working for us, right? It's making, 1% in our savings account. So we'd love to get your advice. I have some thoughts on whether to just park it in a savings account. We have a rental property that we owe some money on. We had sold our primary home, and I'm renting a home right now. Just could use some direction.
Why'd you stop building last fall?
So we're building in a mountain environment up at a ski resort, and
you have to weather.
Exactly. So we put in
but
the
you
foundation.
didn't have your materials and all locked down by contract?
So we didn't. I feel a little bit let down by our contractor, honestly, but we did not. No. So we just found out literally last week. He told us. He gave us a revised.
That's the difference in you
last
sweet
week.
people and me. I wouldn't be a little bit let down. I'd be pissed off, like 40% pissed off. That was his job to lock this up. I mean, my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm working with a contractor right now, building a building or anticipating a building we're breaking ground on in 2 weeks, and I've been wearing them out about locking in everything because because of the same stuff you're facing. These shortages on materials have gone through the roof, caused prices to go through the roof. We're going to see inflation come back, I'm afraid, because of it. So how long do you what is your guess on when you actually do build?
Wait, do you think that it will go back down? I mean, you don't know, right?
I don't know. Economists and weather forecasters are the only people that can be wrong and keep their jobs.
Okay.
And wait a minute,
so
medical doctors predicting virus infection rates, but
there he did. He went and did it.
They can be wrong and keep their jobs too, but anyway, the
So what's your question for me? I didn't hear
I
you.
don't know. I do know. I am pretty sure you're going to see something come back down. There's a reason that steel and wood and lumber and now plywood right behind it are going through the roof, as I understand it from the people we're working with in the business, because I've got several construction projects underway myself. And plywood is actually glue. There's a glue shortage, and that makes the plywood with. And so we're going to see plywood probably triple in the next 90 days, is what I'm hearing. And it's already high. Lumber packages the factories were shut down and they were not producing inventory supply at the rate that it was going. It's not like there was this huge building spike and the factories were operating at normal. They weren't operating at all. And then on top of that, there was a good sized spike in building. So as the spike slows down and the factories get back to capacity, supply-demand curve is going to drop these prices down. Steel is not going to stay where it is. Not for 5 years. It might for 24 months, though. I don't know. I don't know on that. But so the answer to your question is, how long do you think you're parking the money? The longer you're going to park the money, the more you're going to want to put some of it into something like an index fund and take a little bit of risk with it to get a little bit more money.
So it could be 2 to 3 years.
Okay, so you're thinking.
I would love it if it wasn't.
You emotionally are prepared for a 2-year storm. Okay, I don't know that you're wrong on that. So
I'm curious, Dave. How much do you owe on the rental property?
Okay, so we owe 103 on the property, and I have 180,000 sitting in the savings account.
Okay, when you get ready to build, would you be willing to sell the rental if you had paid it off and needed the money?
If I need to, we definitely would do that. Yeah, because I mean,
that's one place I was wondering. That's a really safe place to get a 3 or 4% rate of return on that $100,000. Pay that mortgage off.
Okay.
Ken's got a point. That's where he's going. I jumped the gun, but yeah, that's what you were thinking. How much money is in savings for this building project?
So I have 180 in savings, and we already have, we own the land outright, and we have no debt on the foundation is in and done. So we already have, 100,000.
Parked over there in concrete right now, but that's neither here nor there. You're not going to tear that down. So
no.
You could either do one of three things or some mix of them. Pay off the home, the rental, and then be willing to sell it when you gear back up, because you're going to need the cash back out of it. I'm not going to turn around and borrow back on it if you do that. That's kind of a point of no return on that. The second thing is you could park some in an index fund. Index funds are going to follow the market, whatever it does. You could lose 10% of what you put in there over a 2-year period of time. It'd be highly unusual. The number of times a 2-year period in the stock market's history is down 10% is like 2% of the time or something. It almost never happens, but it could. Mm-hmm. I park stuff for short term like that if I can afford to lose the spread, lose 5 or 10% on it in an index fund. And you might make 10% instead of 1% on that portion. And then some of it you park in just cash, and that's your safety bellwether.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably wouldn't do the rental and the index fund. I'd do one or the other and leave the other half in just cash.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got half of it real safe, half of it's either in that rental and into the index fund, that kind of thing. Hey, thanks for the call.
If you thought this episode was good, click here for the next one where you're going to hear some of the most epic Dave Ramsey rants of all time.
Okay, up next we have, which is one of my favorite calls to take, is actually 2 people on the line. I'm assuming there are a couple.
You're kidding me.
And this is Valerie and Bill.
I couldn't be more excited that we have a couple on with us.
Yeah, they're calling from St. Louis. Hey, you guys, welcome to the show.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And you're both here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So fun. Okay, so great. Boy. All right, how can we help? What's going on?
Yes, ma'am. So I inherited a large amount of money from my dad.
How much?
Like $1 million plus.
Wow.
And it's in the sale of his house is where it initially comes from. There's actually an addition to that inheritance that's in IRAs and things of that nature. It's like 2.5 locked up in that. But
wait, 2.5. Wait, hold on real quick, Valerie. 2.5 in the investments and the $1 million from the house, or is 2.5 altogether?
No, it's separate. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so 3.5. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So my question is, I would like to give a little bit of this money, not a lot, just a little bit to our 4 children. right now. My dad didn't leave him anything. I was the only child, and so he pretty much just left everything to me. But I would like to gift them some. And the dilemma I'm having is that I have four kids in four different financial situations. My oldest one is married with 3 kids, a wife that works, has a house. He's financially okay. My second son is married, has a wife, 2 children with one on the way. Could use a financial bump, if you will, owns a house. My daughter, who is also older, she owns a house but is living with her boyfriend, who they own the house together. I know that's a real Dave Ramsey no, but but anyway, and so she's financially well. She's graduated nursing school, and she's got a good head on her shoulders financially. She's the saver. And then I have a daughter who is currently in college and still lives at home, who needs to get hit heavily in the head with the Dave Ramsey financial piece. Seriously. So you can see I'm kind of all over the map with if I give them some money, how do I gift it to them? I don't want to enable one. I don't want another one to just blow it. I don't want to, potentially give them money and put it on the principal of the house.
Let me jump in for a second. So how much are you planning to give each child? The same amount or different amounts?
Same dollar amount across the board. It's not huge. I'm just thinking
all right. Where's Bill?
What do you think?
Maybe just 10,000, just like 10,000, just something, just to kind of help them ease their financial life.
All right.
now.
So where's Bill at on this deal? Bill?
Yes, sir.
Where are you at?
I personally think they wait until something happens and we pass on to the other side and they get the whole shebang that's in our trust.
Okay. This is an interesting discussion.
Okay.
Because I read a book, which you guys should read just for this discussion, because I don't agree with the entire book, but it's parts of it.
I love that you're coming with a book recommendation.
It's called Die with Zero. Have you heard of this?
I know this book, and it's on my list to read.
It is interesting because part of this discussion is what you guys are talking about, and it's his philosophy basically is give your kids their inheritance
now.
What now? So that because the most time, according to the book, that people need money, so to your point, Valerie, is really between 24 and 34. You're paying off student loan debt, you're getting your first home, usually transitions within marriage and kids. Like the most happens usually within that time frame. And they could get a head start, quote unquote, financially if they had help with a down payment or if they, whatever it is, and then they get to build above that. And they get to start earlier versus them getting money. This is not kind of against you, Bill, a little bit, but versus the older kids now being in their 60s when Bill and Valerie pass to the other side. Well, when you're 60s, you're pretty much all set up. You don't really need it, or you shouldn't. And then what do you do with that, right? So it's just kind of like,
all right, so let's stay there
go
for a
ahead
second.
and use it.
So before we get them, so if that's the case, and you're not necessarily saying they do that here.
No, it's just a take.
They don't. Valerie and Bill, to my knowledge, you two, you all speak up here. You don't have already a set amount that you were going to give outside of this conversation of give them all 10 grand out of this inheritance. But Bill, if I'm hearing you right, you're going, we don't know what chunk it'll be, but whatever we have left when we die, that's what they get. There's not a certain amount of money that you would be in favor of giving them now. This idea that Rachel put out there. Would the two of you go, all right, if we gave them a larger chunk now, would you be okay with that?
Well, my thing is, so we're going to be paying off our house and a few other things that we have. I just don't want to, I would rather that money continue to grow because now we will be financially set.
Yep.
And then in hopes, if the market is the way it should be, we would have multi-millions in there for them whenever we die.
All right. But that's contingent on you guys stewarding it as you would, and it grows over time. So I appreciate the book idea, but I feel like that's only applicable to people who have a large chunk of money.
Yeah, that is true. Yes, that's fair.
So in
that's
this case,
which is them, in a sense, they have 3.5 million.
Yeah. So in this case, you two, you're calling us to weigh in the middle of this deal.
And I want to know, Bill, from you. I mean, it's 40 grand, which granted, it's nothing to sneeze at, but 40 grand out of 3.5 million, it's not a ton.
That's where I'm at.
So is it, what's bothering you about it, Bill? It's less about the dollar amount and probably maybe the principle of it?
Is it truly equal to all four because there's 4 different situations?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you as a father of 3, Rachel's a mother of 3. My vote is yes, each one of them gets the same amount. You create a whole
I don't like giving them all different amounts based on their realities.
And you could wait with like the one in college and say, we're going to hold it until you're 25. You know what I mean? There could be an age.
But where are you at on the 10 grand each? Forget the number amount. Is it an equal amount?
It's equal. Yeah, I think
you
it would
agree with me?
Yeah, for sure. I think it needs to be equal.
Yeah,
I feel like it
Bill.
get real messy real quick. Yes, even though certain kids obviously maybe need more right now. But I also want this. Whenever you give a gift of money, you want it to be a blessing, right? You want this not to continue to harm. So if you do see a situation where this could be actually not good for them and leads them in more of an unhealthy path, that would be more of a pause for me. Just to think through. That's why the age limit may be something to think about. Like when you're 25, you get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. But no, I'm in favor. Sorry, Bill.
I am too.
I'm on Valerie's side.
Sorry, Bill. 10 each.
And it's such a small percentage compared to what you guys will leave them anyways. So
Why Refi refinances delinquent private student loans for struggling borrowers. Learn more at yrefy.com/Ramsey.